In this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate the concept of print function and a couple of things that are important regarding this print function. We have been using this in previous lessons quite a bit, but it's a very important function and it comes to you in various forms. In other words, you can use the print function in multiple ways, and it's a very powerful function in Python. So within the interactive use of the Python interpreter, you can type an expression and immediately see the results of its evaluation. And this is fine to test out the basic syntax, but in a program that run from a file like the first sample program or multiple programs that we ran in earlier lessons, for instance, Python does not display expressions this way. If you want your program to display something, you can give explicit instructions within the print function. And we'll take a look at different ways you can manipulate the print function in Python. So here's a few examples that we'll take a look at. It's a very short lesson, but I wanted to demonstrate a couple of examples primarily using the print function. So here, for instance, I have x equals 3 and y equals 5, two variables. So let me go to my Python shell and simply follow this example, and then we'll take a look at what Python does. So x equals 3, y equals 5. And notice if I were to do the print, for instance, in a single line here, I'm going to say the sum of, I'm going to put a comma, or rather parentheses, because I'm going to make that a string, and then use my variable here, and then enter another string, comma y, and of course is another string, and then x plus y. I'm going to add the two variables together, close my parentheses, hit enter, and the output is the sum of 3 plus 5 is 8. So a simple print statement, but if you were to use this over and over again within your code, for instance, then it's always better to create a definition, right? Create a user-defined definition of this so you can later call the definition by its name. Another example using the print function is, let's say you have a variable called a equals 3.564, and this is again a float number, right? So anything that has a decimal is considered a float number in Python. So I'm going to print this variable. I'm going to say a equals, I'm going to enter a new line, comma, and the variable itself, and of course the results are a syntax error, and recall why, because I did not close the parentheses. So let's try again. A equals, and of course my new line, close my parentheses, then place a comma and call the variable. See how Python is very logical, so if you make a mistake, it always tells you that this is not right. But this time when I hit enter, it prints the output called a equals 3.564. And the value 3.564 is on a new line. Let's do another example. What if I were to just say print, I'm going to say hi as my string, and I'm going to add or concatenate plus string 5. So notice at this point the output is high 5. However, if I were to say something like print and then use the same high 5, but this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the string for high and then simply add 5 to it, right? So I'm not going to use the string 5 within parentheses, I'm just going to say 5. And this time Python gives me an error, and the error is it cannot convert the integer object to string implicitly. So 5 in this instance, according to Python, is a number. So obviously you cannot take a number and you cannot add a number to a string. However, in the previous example where I used the str5 within the set of parentheses or string 5, Python would give me the correct output. So the print is pretty powerful, and of course whatever goes in the print function you can manipulate based on your own requirement. So practice. There are several examples that you can think of, and let's move to the next lesson.